Hello, my dear Rockstars. Welcome back to the Quilting Rockstars episode 10. My name is Holly Ann Knight of String and Story, and it is my job to guide you to quilt with confidence. I am so excited to be back with y'all today. Today is a little different than the last few weeks because Darcy's not here. Darcy is with her kiddos, having a great time, and I am here in the shop working on piecing my Astra quilt. So I'm hoping that for the first time in a hot minute, I'm actually going to do some sewing on camera. That's sometimes hard when we're trying to capture both of us on video. And I'm really excited. Now, a couple of changes just because it's just me today. And my brain is really full and I'm not doing a good job holding on to things. We're not going to have a new giveaway today. And I'm honestly not even going to read a review. I'm going to just review what is in the caption of this video for you real quick. And then we are going to just sit and chat and do the things. So hopefully that sounds good. If you are here with me live, say hi in the chat. I would love to greet you. And just a quick review of what is down there in the caption. First of all, there's a link to our online store. We do have all these beautiful new, well, hold on. There they are. I'm like, pointing is hard. We have all these beautiful new Fableism fabrics in. Let me bring over some of the plaids. So these are the Sprout Wovens in warm colors over here. Cool colors are down here. These are the Arcade Wovens. They're these gorgeous retro plaids. We are obsessed with these. Here are the Trellis Wovens. These are like these lovely backgrounds. So there's a link that you can snag fun things like bundles. Then there's a link that if you have shopped with us or taken a class with me that you can leave us a review. That is super helpful so that when new Quilting Rockstars find String and Story, they can go, oh yeah, this is legit. And folks have had a good experience with this company. Okay. And then I think the last thing that's down there is if you are brand new here and you've not yet downloaded the Confident FMQ workbook, I've got a link to that freebie for you. Okay, cool. The last thing that I'm going to drop this in the chat actually, is a blog that I wrote recently about working with these woven fabrics. Now, all quilting cotton is woven as well, but when I say woven in this context, I mean a slightly looser weave. And I do have some tips and tricks for you. So I've dropped that in the chat. Carry on. All right, we have to make flying geese, people. Are you ready? So this is where we're headed, but I need them. I need these. I need the green ones. So I'm doing 4 at a time, and we are here. So if you will bear with me, we're going to work on it together. All right, who's here with me? Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Sherry. Deborah, Karen, Selwyn, Mary. I am so thrilled to have all of y'all here. How delightful. It is a weird day here. It is very cloudy and windy because, oh, I don't think Kate's going to be on because I'm pretty sure she does not have internet. Ooh, we should clean my bobbin race because it is, I can see that it's dusty. There is a hurricane hitting Florida, and we're starting to get kind of the outer reaches of that. So it's kind of a weird weather day here, and I'm watching it rather anxiously because we are supposed to go camping tomorrow. And I'm a little suspicious that tomorrow afternoon and evening is going to be a rather soggy part of our trip. And I'm not sure how I feel about that quite yet. Ow. Just hitting my head on things. Do we have any campers among us, like folks who enjoy camping? Any pro tips? This is it's not our first time sleeping in a tent with our kids, but it's our first time like properly taking them camping. Honestly, it is probably my first time properly camping if I really think about it, because I've done like a lot of cabin things, but I don't think I've ever actually, not since I was younger than my kids, have I properly tent camped. So we're being wild adventure people this weekend, and naturally it's going to rain. Let me tell you what. So my parents have this thing. They really like to camp a lot before I came along. And every time they tried to tent camp, it would end up raining. So by the time I came along, Mom was like, 2 grown-ups can tent camp in the rain, or we can get a cabin now that we have a baby. Like, she was like, I'm not doing this like soggy, rainy camping situation with a child in tow. So we did it like once or twice when I was really young and then abandoned that whole scenario. And it's funny because mom's always like, I don't know why people camp. It always rains. And, I was always like, oh, surely it can't always rain. Like, people wouldn't do it if it always rained. And now we're getting ready to go and it's going to rain. And my mom is so entertained about this. She's like, okay, well, it's gonna rain, so I don't know what to tell you. And I'm like, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's all gonna be fine. We might get a little wet. Everything is fine. All right, let's see. Hammock camping, that sounds fun. Hello, Kate Brennan. What do you spy with your little eye? Probably many things. Shoot, you know what I left at home? I left the Orifil that just arrived at home. Dang nabbit. Oh, you spy the Patronus. That's what you spy. I see it now. Let's see. Hello, Lois. Welcome for being a first-time viewer. I'm thrilled that you are here. Alicia. Sherry says, I'm in Largo, Florida. Rain, wind, etc. Yep. And I know that Kate, Tony in Central Florida, Tough Kitten Crafts, is without power at the moment. 14 degrees in Montana. Oh my gosh, Marie. Michelle says, happy Thursday. I love camping this time of year. I'm a mom of an Eagle Scout, so we tent camp a lot. So my kids just started Cub Scouts, and that is what is 100% what has fueled this new like outdoor obsession that we're on. It's like, okay, well, if we're Cub Scouts now, we have to learn how to camp. And I don't know that those things necessarily have to go together, but we have decided that they do. And so here we are. Gail says, I'm not a camper. Love it. You know what? You got to know what is for you and what is not for you. That's really important. 12 degrees in the Colorado mountains. My Lanta. Karen says, I just received pictures of my condo resort of the hot tub and pool in Daytona collapsing. Karen, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I don't have words. I'm not sure what. I'm just so sorry. That sounds very bad. And now I feel unsure of how to proceed because I don't want to dismiss that at all. My goodness gracious. Do I have a leader? I need a leader. Let's see. I do have a leader. Look at me go. I'm like, this was a terrible plan. We should not do this without a leader. And that's why, Lord have mercy. Would have just eaten my poor little fabric right up. How do I want to do this? I want to do this like that. Come on. I'm not sure that that really did any better that time, but the next one will be better. I'm rather vehemently opposed to marking if I can at all avoid it. Hello, Jesse. Okay, so Karen, what happens next with the condo? Because this is upsetting. I have follow-up questions. Also, what is everyone working on? I have not sewn a stitch in over a week. I had, about a week ago, I had a really beautiful afternoon here at the shop where I got lots and lots of sewing done. And of course, in my brain, I was like, I can't wait to make loads more progress. Why is my bobbin saying it's out? It's not out. I was just looking at it. It's not out. Okay. I was of course like, oh, I'm gonna make tons of progress. I'm gonna have my Astra piece in a weekend. And here we are. We are not pieced in a weekend. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's gonna get done. It's gonna get done on its own little timeline. And it is not my timeline. And that's okay. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Gail says, I'm recovering from rotator cuff surgery and haven't been sewing. Sure do you miss it? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. My dad had that surgery many, many moons ago. That recovery is not particularly fun. Yeah, it's not a fun one. I feel like sewing these last time went smoother. I don't know what I did differently. Maybe I'll find my groove. Hello, Francie. Let's see. Alicia says I pieced my sampler for FMQ. Love it. Marie says I'm getting ready for motion quote my last Christmas gift. Love it. We're getting FMQ practice sandwiches. Love it. Man, y'all are busy. I did finally get another quilt loaded on the long arm yesterday. It is a customer quilt. I will be riff quilting. I'm quite excited about that, actually. I got the bobbins all wound as well. So I'm hoping to start that today. And then what else is on the docket? Of course, the shop will be open from 12 to 5. And hopefully we'll just be piecing a lot of samples. Marcy is not here yet, but she's bringing some nope, not heirloom hearts, retro ornaments pieced out of the plaids. Let me see if I can find the picture she sent me. Y'all are gonna love this. It's so good. Let's see. Marcy. Look at these. Look at these. How cute. I'm deceased. Love them so much. So she's bringing those blocks today. Those are going to be part of our samples. Yay. All right. And Mitzi got rhythm together, you rock star. I love it so much. Mary says, started work on my FMQ sampler set. Sewed 5 motifs the first day. Then 3 motifs quilt, the lab quilt for a gift. Mary, that's amazing. Okay, that's some of my like favorite stories right there when like you're putting those skills to use. Because that graduation is fun. But more than anything, Free Motion Quilting Academy is about getting you finishing quilts. And so hearing about you doing that, just absolutely amazing. Lois, we are in downtown Duluth, Georgia. So northeast of Atlanta, right on Main Street. And we are open for in-person shopping 3 days a week. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we are open online all the time. So we have an e-commerce shop that has all of our fabric and threads and things available on there so that no matter where you are, you can shop with us if you see something that catches your fancy. And here in the shop, we've got our fabrics, our threads, patterns, and then we also offer long arming services. We do some classes in person, but the majority of my teaching is online, hence us being here, which is so fun. Francie says, I have to take my machine in for a spa day. It's a good time to clean the sewing room. Supposed to snow next week. Oh my gosh, Francie. You've gotta get your little sewing nest all in order so you can hunker down when it snows. It's so funny because I don't ever consider myself I don't ever consider myself a cold weather person, right? Y'all know this about me. I am a summer girl through and through. But it has been, I don't know, something's been kind of weird about the weather lately that I'm really excited about this cold snap that we're getting this weekend. We're going camping, so I'm going to be out in it, which is really interesting. But I'm still excited about that feeling of just kind of like hunkering by the fire, enjoying the weather. I don't know. I'm going to bring my knitting. Darcy's been getting me back into knitting, y'all, because I need one more thing to do, right? I need one more project. I do not need one more project. However, I started color work this week on a project I have been knitting on for 10 years. So it's a good step in the right direction. My mom is very excited about it. Let's see. Karen says working on Color Builder 2021. Starting the last block penguins. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Sashing when you put the quilt together. I don't remember what the layout says. But if I remember correctly from quilting it, it was 2-inch finished. If that is helpful. But it also, you could do whatever you want to do, Karen. That's one of the great things about that simple layout is you could do it however you want to do it. Lois, I would love for you to road trip to come see me. Where are you located? I need to bind all of my color builders from last year. I was thinking about that this week. So I gave the Aura Philosophy lecture at the Hull County Quilt Guild. Shout out to those amazing rock stars. I started my Monday morning off that way, which was great. My in-laws came into town last weekend. It was very hard. It is always very hard. That is a long story that I will not divulge on the internet. But it was amazing to get to like jump back into this week, going up and giving a lecture for the Hull County Quilt Guild. And so I gave the Aura Philosophy lecture. We talked all about thread. And so, of course, I brought the color builders as one of my show and tell items, kind of as part of the lecture. Oh, Paisley, Florida, Lois, that's amazing. What part of Florida is that in? We are traveling down to Florida next week, actually. I've got a lot of travel coming up. And I will actually be teaching in Florida next summer. So yeah, it was just super fun to kick off the week, and it was just a fun reminder of how much I love that lecture and love talking about thread. We're gonna have to do a virtual event for y'all here soon. It's like on my radar, but I haven't gotten to nail down a date yet. So maybe we can nail that down before Christmas, and we'll do another virtual Aura Philosophy. We did it over the summer. We had a bunch of people able to tune in, but I've been wanting to do it again. And it was fun to pull those animal blocks out and be like, oh yeah, I really have got to get these bound. So maybe one of these days I will get my act together. Binding is not my spiritual gift. Y'all know this. Binding is not my spiritual gift. Let's see. Just north of Orlando. Oh, perfect. Okay, we're gonna be near Silver Springs right before Thanksgiving for a family trip. See, oh good. Kate Brennan, you're still on here. Use 2.5 inch for sashing. The pattern does not call for sashing. Oh yeah, I liked the sashing, Kate. I thought that that was really nice. So I will second that. So Karen, was that you that was asking? So yes, 2-inch finished. Yeah. Yay, a threadless would be appreciated. Okay. I got to review the new guidelines that they put out for doing virtual events. But I would love to do that. I think that would be super fun. Dee Dee! You're not super late. Don't you worry. We're just bebopping. I'm making flying geese. It's a good time. We're taking it super chill today. It is a cozy day. It's sweater weather. It's not quite sweater weather, let's be honest, but it looks like it could be. So we're going with it. Also, I'm having a good hair day. So we're just leaning into all of this. Having a nice cozy, chill out, piece some things. Good Lord, it feels good to sew. Every day for the last week, I've been like, today's going to be the day that I get to do some stitching. And you know what I've been doing instead? It's the most wonderful thing. I've been sending out your orders. It's like the best problem to have. I get to send happy mail. I've been sending happy mail all day, every day for over a week. And I love it. But I'm also really glad to get to sew today. That both and, you know? Which shout out to all of you who have already snagged some of these Sprout Wovens. Y'all are crushing them. Like it's incredible. And oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to say this until now. We have fall prints coming in, like fall winter prints. They're not actually seasonal prints, but they're like fall winter colors, and they're arriving tonight, and I'm very excited about them. I cannot wait to share them. I don't know when. Maybe we'll show them off on next week's live. Maybe I'll show them off before then. I don't know yet. Let's see. Selwyn says, I'm coming to QuiltCon. Sure hope I can meet you. Yes. Okay, so Selwyn, great news. Let's talk about that for a second. The shop will not be open during QuiltCon. It's also not close to where QuiltCon is. So we are 25 miles outside of the city. So it is close to an hour drive. So it's really not practical to try to come up here anyway. But we are vendors. So we're sponsors and vendors, and I'm on faculty. So we will be there with bells on all day, every day. I cannot wait. It's oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. So yes, we're gonna have a big booth. We're bringing lots of things. We're very excited about it. Oh my gosh, come on. I don't know why I'm struggling with this so much today. Did my bobbin finally run out? No? Okay. Deborah says, I'm putting binding on a quilt I started 19 years ago. I love that. Didi says, when I am smoothly free motion quilting, I cannot get my fabric to move smoothly. Is this normal? I have a slow, steady guide on my bed. Is so steady your table, or is it like a slick mat? That's my first question. Because if you have a mat, I would ditch that. I find that they do not actually help that much. Those are usually like Supreme slider situations. It sounds like there's probably a lot of weight that is weighing down your quilt. Oh yeah, get rid of the slick mate. It's just like one more thing you're having to deal with, and I find it not helpful at all because the edges will end up catching on your quilt and prevent it from moving, which is the opposite of what you're trying to do. So I would get rid of that. Now what happened? feel like my machine and I are struggling today. Why are we struggling today, Dolly? I don't know. Oh yes, that's what I was saying. So I would get rid of the slick mate. I think the biggest thing is remembering that working on a domestic, especially if you have a pretty big, pretty heavy quilt, make sure that you have room behind and to the left of your machine to really hold the weight of everything, because it's a lot more weight than we sometimes realize, especially once you add in gravity, like tugging on your quilt and pulling it down. The other thing that I would keep in mind, is that we really want to be able to like go at it, and you're going to have to work in starts and stops working on a domestic, right? Because you have to reposition a lot. So get going nice and smooth in the section of quilt that's right in front of you, but be prepared that it will be best to come to a complete stop and rearrange the quilt before continuing when it comes to like moving to the next section, because we can only work on a little area at a time underneath the machine. And that's very normal. But a lot of what we see of free motion quilting on social media is long arming, where you can work in a much larger section at a time. And that can be really deceptive. Or we see a time lapse where it's been edited so you don't see all the like very unsexy pushing and shoving of the quilt itself. But that's a very real part of working on the domestic. That you'll like quilt for a moment, pause, rearrange, quilt for a moment, pause, rearrange. Great question. I know Dee Dee is in my free motion quilting class. If you are here and you are new to free motion quilting, or you are curious about free motion quilting, be sure to check out that last link in the caption of this video. It's a free download of my Confident FMQ workbook. And I think you will find it helpful and inspiring, and it answers a lot of frequently asked questions about free motion quilting. So if you are new here and you are, wanting to learn how to finish your own quilts, that is a perfect starting spot. I'm wondering about my lack of more squares. I wonder if I didn't cut enough, or if I made too many partial geese. Aw, Dee Dee, thank you. I made the mistake with this quilt, and y'all, if any of you are making the Astra quilt, okay, I love this quilt. It's also this quilt. It is also the quilt that I'm working on, right? I love this pattern. It's stunning. If any of y'all are making it or thinking of making it, here's like my big tip. Cut out all the pieces at once. I know that sounds a little silly, but like cutting is not my favorite, so sometimes I do it in fits and starts. And this quilt has a lot of pieces. And what I'm noticing is that it has made it, because I did not cut them out all at once, it's made it really hard to keep track of, did I cut the right number of everything? And so I would just advise, like, if you want to cut out like one block's worth to test your block, do that, but then cut out the rest. Because this has been kind of nonsense. All right. No, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 28. That means it's going to make 56. I think I am going to be a couple short. which means I'm going to need more navy squares. Okay. Good to know. We will cut those soon. I thought I cut them all, but no. Oh my gosh. It's so many pieces. It's so many pieces, Mitzi. I'm glad to know it's not just me. I'm like, have I lost my mind? I might have lost my mind. I don't know. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm literally just going back the other way on this chain, and I'm going to wait and pull everybody apart at the end. If my sweet machine can bother picking things up. I'm not sure when I've changed my needle, and I feel like that might be part of my problem right now. Let's see. Gracie says, FMQA is wonderful. Holly and all the participants really help you become confident in your skills. Oh, thank you. I agree. I'm biased, though. I'm hopelessly biased. And I have to acknowledge that. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I will say, though, part of the reason that I recommend downloading, this is still, we haven't like fully announced this yet. Part of the reason I recommend downloading that workbook is because if you realize that you really do want to learn a lot more free motion quilting, okay, I am gonna have to snip this. Free Motion Quilting Academy is coming back one more time before the end of the year. Some of you have heard me say this, a lot of you have not, because we haven't talked about it a whole lot yet. But there is, if you want Free Motion Quilting Academy to be on your Christmas list, why on earth? All right, you know what? We're gonna pause. And we're gonna troubleshoot because this is not working. If you want Free Motion Quilting Academy to be on your Christmas list, there is the opportunity for that. Hello in Canada. Huzzah. All right. We already oiled, but I'm going to just rethread everybody. Something is funky, and I don't know what it is. I don't like it. I'm going to change my needle. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing a little bit of troubleshooting because normally my Bernina does not have any problems at all, like picking up these little fabrics as I'm going along and grabbing them and being off to the races. And we're having a lot of trouble with that today. And it just makes me think that I've missed some little maintenance step here recently. So I'm just going to take a moment and give Dolly a little TLC. We cleaned and oiled the bobbin race at the top of our time together, but I did not change the needle and I did not rethread my top thread. Ooh, and this bobbin really is about out. So we're going to just take a moment and do those things and see if it helps. It might just be that I'm off my game, honestly. I might just be funky today. And that's okay too, if we end up there. But I think there's a much greater likelihood. Honestly, no, if I'm honest about it, the chances of me being off my game probably is a pretty high likelihood. It's been a weird week. That's all right. That's why we're sewing. I'm gonna fix everything. All right. Chris says, gotta go tell mom it's time for lunch. We had a good time with her in Houston last week. Even hit 4 quilt shops. That's amazing. Just patterns and machine embroidered designs. Oh my gosh, Kate sent me that new machine embroidered village that I think it's OESD just came out with. And she really wants me to do it and like turn it into Duluth and put it in the shop window. And I love that idea. And also I'm terrified at the thought of figuring out how to do that. So we'll see. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. Take a little moment to do a little dusting. God bless Dolly. I need to clean you a little better, don't I? Oop. You got dust everywhere. I'm hoping to make it to Houston next year, y'all. I think I've been saying that every year for like 5 years. Next year might actually be the year. I'm very excited about it. It's time. It is time. Oh, that's also not in the right. Oh, I bet that was my problem. See, okay, this is great. I'm really excited. Oh, how fun. My little Instagram counter just went up. This is why when something is going not the way it usually goes, it's important to pause and take a little moment. So I was like, let me just rethread my top thread. Let me change my needle. Something seems to be going a little bit funky. As I was doing that, I found that my needle plate had not clicked all the way into position. So probably what was happening all this time is that my needle plate was catching my fabric and making it hard for it to feed under smoothly. But I don't know that I would have noticed that if I hadn't paused. Oh, yes, I can already feel the difference. If I hadn't paused to just have a little maintenance moment, right? So this is why these little maintenance moments are important. Oh, we're off to the races. I love this. I love this so much. So anytime something's just a little off with your machine, just taking a second to be like, let me just play around. This doesn't quite feel right. It's really, really important. Because it may not be the thing you think it is, but hopefully you'll be able to figure out what is going awry. Yep, because we are sailing through now. Oh, that's so nice. So much better. Okay, let's see. I know, right, Shane? So for those of you who don't know, Kate over at Tough Kitten Crafts is a phenomenal machine embroidery teacher. And yeah, she's gonna have to hold my hand through that whole dang village. Maybe she just has to come visit. Maybe she needs to come visit for a couple of days and we'll make it together. My idea of camping is in a trailer, no tent. You know, that's how my husband grew up camping as well. Unfortunately, that's an even larger investment than the investment we've already made. Because let me tell y'all what, REI is not cheap. Hot dog. I feel like taking up camping has been a little bit like taking up quilting. Of like, it sounds very simple, like, oh, I just need like a sewing machine and a little bit of fabric. It's not a big deal. And then all of a sudden, it is like a really expensive hobby. Feeling really similarly about the quilting or about the camping right now. I'm not mad about it. Don't get me wrong. Because similarly to quilting, it's, you know, you buy a lot of things once, they're investments, and then you can make a trillion quilts. And similarly with camping, like you buy the equipment once and then you can go camping a trillion times. But wowie zowie, and there's 4 of us, right? Because we're taking the kids. Yeah. Oh yes, Kate Brennan, we need to polo about tent camping because I need wisdom from the master. So Kate took her son on this massive camping trip this weekend. Kate is a master camper. I am 100% sure that I'm overpacking, Kate. My dining room is overrun. It is a whole mess. I ordered all the groceries yesterday though, and I felt very proud of myself for planning meals for 8 people for like 2 days. Felt like an accomplishment. But yeah, Kate, I need wisdom. I did get the self-inflating mat that you recommended, by the way. So you know, we did tent setup practice last night. Oh y'all, this was so funny. So we're leaving tomorrow as soon as the kids get off the bus, right? And we just had daylight savings time here in Atlanta. Well, you know, most of the US, but we just had daylight savings time. So now it gets dark around 5:40. So we have it timed out within like an inch of our lives that if we leave right when the kids get off the bus, we like take them home to go potty, already have the car packed, toss them in the car, drive to meet our friends who are going with us, and then all head out to the campsite. We are going to get there like probably at 5, right? So that gives us like 40 minutes before it's dark. And so we last night went over to our friend's house because they have like a grassy backyard that we're going camping with. And we did set up. And so we got there like at 5:10 and granted, we're doing this with like a proper kitchen and grill and like backyard conditions. So like the kids are relatively contained. But we set up both tents, made burgers and fries. Yeah, set up both tents and made burgers and fries in like 30 minutes flat. And I was so proud because we'd never set up the tents before. Like this was cold turkey. And like I know it's gonna take longer than that. when we like get to the campsite and there's like gravel and we have the dog and the kids are running amok and we're trying to make sure that nobody like dies and we have to like light a fire, whatever. But just the fact that like we were able to figure it out in a timely fashion and like no one got angry felt like a huge win. Felt like an absolutely enormous win, and I'm gonna take it, you know? Oh my gosh, you were in bed by 7 last night? I just saw that. I know, the dark. The dark is hard. The dark is very hard. I was not in bed by 7 last night. I did, however, fall asleep at like, I don't know, 9 o'clock on Sunday. Sunday, I was out really early. It's been a little more normal the rest of the week. But let me tell you what. I cannot wait to have this quilt done. I'm going to finish these and I'm going to show you the other projects I'm working on, and then we'll call it a day. But y'all, this has been fun. I enjoy getting to sew with you. I gotta work on my camera angle with Darcy so that we can do more sewing when we're on here together. Let's see. 2 kids under 2 all day and long-armed hardcore. Oh my gosh, you earned that bedtime. Oh, let me tell you what. I remember the 2 under 2 days with the long arming. You're incredible. You got this. Listen, you will look back with such satisfaction on this time. And I used to get so angry when people would tell me that. But like, if you can make it through that, you can do anything, Rockstar. You got this. All right, let me where's my leader ender situation. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, I got to show y'all how my thread cutter works too. All right, well, I acted like I was almost done, and what a lie. 14 quilts in the last month. Woo! I've got like 3 I need to do with I don't know what time. They need to like be done this weekend, but I'm not going to be here this weekend, so I haven't figured that out yet. We'll get there. All right, here's all these guys. Let me introduce you to the sunflower thread cutter. Okay, it's got this little blade in the top. Now, there's a number of gizmos that do this job on the market. I like this one best because it is short and stable. I'm going to scoot y'all back so you can see it, right? It's got little grippies on the bottom, so it's not going anywhere. And you just can floss those little connecting threads right through the top. It's delightful. This was when my kids were really young, this is the job that I would give them to do. I think it's like 13 bucks. Yeah. It's quite affordable. I've had the same one forever. It has not gone dull on me. It's wonderful. And this was the job I would give my kids when they were like 2, 3, 4 years old, and we would hang out in the sewing room. So I would sew a whole chain of things. They would usually sit on my lap for that. And then while I got up and did something else, I would hand them all the bits. And they would do this. And what I love about it is like you could use the one on the side of your machine, but then you're having to do that like weird angle. And I always find that it like pulls my threads funny. And so I end up kind of distorting my stitching. This one cuts really cleanly and I don't have to like yank on it. It just flosses right through there. One of the Rockstars was in recently, and she's also a yarn dyer. And so she actually bought 2. She got 1 to have in her sewing room to do this with. And I'm cutting 2 threads, by the way. Here, how close? How do I get y'all closer to this? Can I prop this on here? We're going to try. I want y'all to be able to see this up close. There we go. So 2 threads. Ta-da! Hello, Cindy. So she got 1 for her sewing room to be able to do this with. And then she got another one for her like yarn space to use it to cut thin yarns as well. And she's very excited about it. But I just love that I don't have to tug on it really hard. And I love that it's not tall. I'm not worried about flipping it over. I saw somebody recently, I'm going to show you a thing. Please don't do this. Okay. Somebody recently had a little gizmo holder like this, and they had opened up their seam ripper and put it in, and they were doing this in the seam ripper, that's wobbling all over the place and all of this. Please don't do that. That's so dangerous. Just get a thread cutter. It's way better, way safer. What kind of needles do I use for piecing and quilting? I use universal needles pretty much all the time, in large part because I don't want to have to keep track of lots of different types of needles. I use a size 12 or 14 for piecing, and I use a 14, 16, or 18 for quilting, depending on how many seams there are. Yeah, great question. You can generally use a slightly smaller size needle if you are using something like a top stitch that's going to have a larger eye. That's the big thing, especially with quilting, is you want a large eye on your needle so that thread can pass through at a high speed without breaking. Great question. Marie, I agree that the two of us sewing will be fun. Well, we got to continue to evolve our setup here and make that happen, because I agree. I think that would be really lovely. All righty. Dun, da, da, da. All right. I don't use ballpoint needles. Great question. I use them if I'm working with knits, like if I'm making a t-shirt quilt, something like that. Yeah. But otherwise, no, I don't use ballpoint. I know some people who feel really strongly about that. I'm just not one of them. So, all right, quick review of all the things going on here. We now have all the plaid bundles. This is the trellis wovens. That's the darkest color. That's the lightest color. Look what a lovely little background that would be. It's so delicate. There's 7 different ones. Yes, these would make lovely dishcloths. I got a lot of emails about that. Yes, they would. Here are the arcade wovens. These are very similar to a shirting. They are a lovely texture. They're a little bit thicker. Stunning plaids of various scales and colors. Very retro, very fun. I have some sprout wovens cut out here. That's the wovens that I was working with just now. I'm going to make a signpost quilt. I wonder if I can grab that book and show y'all. Where is that? Hold, please. Boop, 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 boop. I do have a copy left. Excellent. So after I finish Astra, or somewhere along the way with Astra, I'm going to make this quilt by Elizabeth Chappell out of the Sprout Wovens. Right now I'm making this one. And then my last little show and tell item is the other project I have cut out here, resting on a baking sheet I stole from my own kitchen. Out of Sprout Wovens and those arcade wovens is Heirloom Hearts by Brittany over at Lo and Behold. So stay tuned. We're doing lots of sample sewing around here to show off all these gorgeous fabrics to you, because we're in love with them and we want you to be too. Oh, sewing. Yes, my pullover is amazing. It is tunic length. It is quilted. It has McTavishing on it. And it is from REI. In fact, I can probably get you. Hello. In fact, I can probably get you a link. Give me a second. Let's see. Ba, 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 ba. Here it is. All right. This is not an affiliate link. Kind of wish it was. You are not the first person to ask me for it. You'll match me and Brittany from Lo and Behold, because she got one too. Just so you know. It's on sale. You should get one immediately. I'm obsessed with it. I will not be taking it off until I get another one in another color, and then I'll switch back and forth. Okay, that is neither here nor there, y'all. Thank you so much for being here with me today. It's been fun. Yes. It's in the REI garage because it's on sale. Thank you so much for being here with me today. As always, you're going to find resources in the caption of this video, a link to shop online with us for any of the fabrics that you've seen or heard me mention. You will find a link to leave us a review. Wait, Kate, did you get one too? Yes. You will find a link for my free Confident FMQ workbook, and I'm dropping here in the chat one more time, a link to my blog all about working with these woven fabrics, because they're really fun, but I do recommend either pre-washing or starching just to stabilize the weave a little bit. And I've captured all of that in a handy dandy blog post. All right, Rockstars, you are incredible. I will see you back here next week at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll get back to our normal shenanigans with giveaways and things then. But in the meanwhile, thanks for stitching with me. It was super fun. Mwah!